answering this question, I would like to mention that this is a very beauty of ACCA course that they don't limit to you that okay, you have to do only an articleship or internship kind of a thing. You can obviously do a full-time job and get that counted towards the 36 months of work experience. So what I always suggest to people or to my juniors or to students or affiliates who reach out to me, that what should we do? Should we go with any big four or big six firm, or should we go with any mid-sized CA firm? I always tell them that if you get an opportunity and if you get an opportunity to work with a big name or a big brand, then you should go with it, because what I feel that a big name or a big brand in the start of your journey, in the start of your corporate career, can give you the real boost.
Hi, everyone. Good morning to our session. And first of all, thank you for joining in. Today, we'd be discussing all about ACCA and the PER requirement under ACCA, which is Practical Experience Requirement. So, we'd be covering all of it. What is PER? How do you file for it? How do you make the most out of the 36 months? Why is there PER, first of all? So, we'll be discussing everything in and out, and whatever queries you have, all of those will be addressed at the end of the session. And today we have our speaker, Harsh Gupta. Before we begin, I'd like to give my introduction too. So I'm Megha Bansali. I'm a qualified Indian Chartered Accountant as well as an ACCA. So I have work experience of Big Four. I have worked in KPMG, and then I also have a startup experience. I've worked at Freecharge too. So that's with my corporate experience. And post that, I have started teaching because, I'm quite passionate about it. And I feel, I can really help students when I give them a lot of practical related example scenarios, especially when it comes to auditing. So that's all about me. And, if you have any doubts in terms of your subject or anything related to ACCA, also you can reach out to me. And we have Harsh Gupta with us today. So he is an ACCA member and is working currently in Deloitte. He has also worked in KPMG and has done a lot of good internships when he was doing his PER. So I think we'll let Harsh also introduce himself. So Harsh, can you please share about your journey with all of us?
So hello everyone, good morning. So my name is Harsh Gupta. I'm a recently qualified ACCA member, and I qualified to become an ACCA member last year in December. So I started my corporate journey after my graduation with KPMG India as an risk analyst. So I worked there for almost a year. Then to pursue my higher education pursuits and some of my personal pursuits, I moved back to my hometown and started working with a regional CA firm. I started with their internal audit practice and so worked for there around 2 years, then raised up the ladder. Then then I worked for around 6 months with another CA firm in the same internal audit practice. So internal audit has been my core area of practice. Then last year in October, I joined Deloitte India as an executive in the internal audit or the risk advisory practice. And I love mentoring ACCA students and my ACCA fraternity members, and that is what I do on LinkedIn. And hope you have a good time here and you learn a lot of insights. And thank you, ma'am, for having me.
Thank you so much, Harsh. So you have mentioned that you have done internal audit and you're currently doing risk advisory, but can you just briefly break down how you have done your 36 months of PER? What all have you kind of covered there?
Okay. So just like I told that I started my corporate journey with KPMG India. So I'll just give a brief summary that okay. So when we speak about the PER or the practical experience requirement, so there can be two type of employers. So there can be ACC approved employers and ACC non-approved employers. So there are few benefits if you worked under ACC approved employers, which can be mainly like you get exemption from writing those 9 performance objectives. That is one of the things. And plus, because that particular individual or that particular entity is an ACC approved employer, so that individual entity knows that how the system works. So you don't have to basically convince them or tell them or explain them, okay, so I'm an ACC student and this is one of my requirement to become an ACC member. So I have to do this PER per practical experience requirement. I have to register you on as a PER supervisor and all the other things. So that is few benefits if you worked under an ACCA approved employer. But my case has always been very different because I've always worked during my 36 months of PER in an ACCA non-approved employer. So I work with KPMG India Services LLP, which is a non-approved employer, ACCA non-approved. Just for an example, so KPMG's global division, which is KGS, which is KPMG Global Services, that is an ACCA approved employer in India, but not KPMG India. So I was working with KPMG India as a risk analyst in their GRCS division. But that was a different case for me because I had to basically seek mentorship from my reporting manager, who is also a chartered accountant, Indian chartered accountant. So I have to explain all of those things to him, that it is just like a CA articleship, what you had in your CA journey, those 3 years of articleship. We have something similar in ACCA too. So I have to get you register on the ACCA platform as a PER supervisor. Then you have to just supervise my work, and I would be signing some performance objectives during my corporate journey here. And if you think that those are in line with my work, what work I did, then you have to basically sign those off. So I started my journey with KPMG, signed about 10 to 11 months of my work experience there. Then I moved to a CA firm. I worked for there around 25 months, and then I moved to another CA firm in my hometown, Jaipur, Rajasthan, and I worked for there around 5 to 6 months. So this is how I basically summed up my journey, or those 36 months of work experience during the whole ACCA membership.
Okay. So I think you have had good amount of experience, so that's really nice. Can you just throw some light or, give us some guidance on what do you think should be a person's per kind of employer? It should be a big firm like KPMG, or do you think they should go to a smaller firm like a CA firm? Where do you think they should kind of go for their per?
Okay, so before answering this question, I would like to mention that this is a very beauty of ACCA course, that they don't limit to you that okay, you have to do only an articleship or internship kind of a thing. You can obviously do a full-time job and get that counted towards the 36 months of work experience. So what I always suggest to people, or to my juniors or to students or affiliates who reach out to me, that what should we do? Should we go with any big four or big six firm, or should we go with any mid-sized CA firm? I always tell them that if you get an opportunity, and if you get an opportunity to work with a big name or a big brand, then you should go with it, because what I feel that a big name or a big brand in the start of your journey, in the start of your corporate career, can give you the real boost towards your long term future, because that name carries a prestige, and if that name attaches to your name too, because you are working with that particular entity, having a good goodwill in the market, then you get all the benefits too. But it is not like, if you're not able to crack a good company or a good organization, it is not like that okay, your journey is stopped now, you can't do anything. It is not like that. Then it is a thing that you have to move a step back. You can start working with a smaller mid-sized firm, get those learnings clarity, get those technical concept clarity, because at the end of the day, even if you appear for an interview after you become an ACCA affiliate or an ACCA member, what the interviewer would be asking you, that what did you learn, what skills do you have. He or she won't be asking that much, okay, you have worked with KPMG, so okay, we are ready to take you. He'll grill you. But so in order to answer those questions of the interviewer, if you go for a job after you become an ACC affiliate or a member, the main thing which basically bridges the gap between you and the company which you're targeting for is your skills. The skills which you have learned, those technical competencies which you have gathered during your practical experience requirement journey. So you have to mainly focus on getting those required skills into your place. And if you're getting those required skills with a good name, with a good organization, that is a cherry on cake. But if you're not able to do so, start with an organization which has a good hand holding in the area in which you wish to pursue. Like, it can be audit, it can be taxation, it can be financial advisory, or other areas as well. If you're able to get into even a small size or a mid-size firm, start there and get those required experience. Then obviously you can shift, or you can move to a bigger organization. So yeah.
Any specific areas that you feel should be done, or should kind of, experience be gained in these fields before they file for their ACCA membership?
So I have particular inclination toward audit. So what I feel that if you start your journey of if you start learning, so audit basically broadens your perspective and gives you so many opportunities. It can be forensic audit, stat audit, or internal audit. So if you start your career with audit, what I've always felt that there have been many more avenues open for me, because when you are doing audit, you are learning everything about a business, everything about a company. You learn a little bit about income tax also. You learn a little bit about financial advisory, investment banking too. So all those areas which you comprehend, which you can see. So all those diverse profiles becomes open for you if you start your career with audit. What I feel. But if you start your career with taxation, and so it can narrow your career down a little bit, because okay, the person next to you can see you as a, okay, you are a tax expert, so you must be knowing all everything about tax. So that thing can be taken in as a perspective after seeing you, that okay, you are a tax expert. But what I feel in my career also, that because I've always been into audit, or specifically into internal audit, so many more career avenues have always been open for me. So what I can advise is that if you can start your career with audit, it can be any area of audit. So I think that will give you much more opportunities, and it will broaden your perspective, that okay, these are all other areas which I can explore going forward.
I think that truly makes sense. To kind of add on to that is the requirement is there so that you can explore and you can see what fields are there, what options are available, so that you understand what is my liking, what is my inclination. And I think audit is the perfect field because, like Harsh mentioned, you will be doing a little bit of income tax, you'll be doing a little bit of risk advisory, financial advisory, or whatever. So you kind of get a flavor of all the fields, and then you can decide your inclination based on that. So yes, that is there. Now, could you just guide us on how someone can find these internships, or how do you look at an approved employer? How do you approach them?
Okay. So, so one of the best ways to find who all are the ACC approved employees in India, that is the website by ACC only. That is a dedicated website, which is acccareers.com. So if you wish to find out that, okay, is the employer whom am I approaching to is an ACC approved or not, or who all are those in India who are ACC approved, you can just go to this website, acccareers.com. You can just type down your city in which you are targeting for, or even you can type down India as a specific. So all the list of approved employees would be opened in front of you, and you can see and you can observe that okay, these are the approved employees. And if you wish to target your PER, or complete your PER, or start your PER with these approved employees, then obviously you can redirect yourself to the careers website of these particular companies, and then you can start your application. So one of the ways to find ACC approved employers, the list of ACC approved employees can be acccareers.com.
Okay. Uh, Can you throw some light on how to file for PER? Let's say someone has completed their 36 months of training. So how do they go about filing it? And there are objectives. So how do you kind of fulfill it, or what do you have to put in there? So could you just, enlighten us about that?
So mainly what you start with, so the procedure is like, so you log into your My ACC account. There is a basically a red button which tells about that record practical experience. So record my experience. So you just click on that, and you would be redirected to a portal which is ACC's PER recording portal. So you would be redirected to that. Then what you have to do is that if you have started your job before, or if you have completed your job or an internship, you have to just fill out a form. In that form, you have to fill out your basic details, and there would be some other questions like, is this an audit role? And what would be your working hours? It would be a 7 hours a day or 8 hours a day. And is this a teaching role or not? So you have to just fill in all of those. Then a next form would appear. You have to basically fill in the required details of your reporting manager. The reporting manager and the entity you would be enrolling with. So you have to get in those details, and you have to click on submit. After doing that, an email would be sent to your practical experience supervisor or your reporting manager. Then he or she has to basically register on the ACCA platform. Similar to like there would be a user ID and a password would be created for them. That can be used by them or your reporting manager to log into their PER supervisor portal, and from there, basically they can arrange everything for you with regards to signing off your time, signing off your performance objectives. So this is the first step which you do. So in the first step, you have to basically get your reporting manager on board on the ACCA platform. The second thing is that then there comes two things. First is your recording or time, which is 36 months, obviously. And second thing is your those 9 performance objectives. So those 9 performance objectives can be broke down another into two parts. There are another five permanent objectives or the mandatory objectives. Then there are four technical objectives out of a list of 17. those 4 technical objectives are basically broken down into 6 to 7 areas of expertise, which can be seen in ACCA members all throughout the globe. They can be audit, they can be regulation, they can be tax, they can be finance, they can be investment banking, there can be financial reporting and corporate advisory. So these are few areas in which you can get your 4 technical objectives done, and those 5 mandatory objectives are mandatory for all. So what you have to do is that I will always advise you, once you join the organization, in the very first week of you joining the organization, get your manager onboarded on the PER supervisor tool. What I advise is, because at the end of your job, if you move out and after 2 months, you just remember that, oh, I haven't uploaded or I haven't uploaded the details of my practical experience supervisor on the platform, then it can get really difficult to track down your manager if you don't have their updated contact details. So you then have to go back to your manager, explain them about everything. So it is always good to basically onboard your manager in the very first week of you joining the organization. Explain them with the clarity. There are many toolkits available on the ACCA Global website. You can download those freely, and you can even share with those details along with your practical experience supervisor or your reporting manager, so they can also get clarity. Okay, this is a legit thing. This is nothing such as fake thing, because there have been cases that practical experience supervisor have been a little reluctant towards signing off your performance objectives, because they have to basically upload their membership certificate too in order, because it is one of the requirements that your practical experience supervisor can only be an IFAC qualified line manager. IFAC is International Federation of Accountants. So ICAI, which is Indian Institute of Chartered Accountant, it is basically a member of IFAC. ACCA is also a member of IFAC, and another is like AICPA, which is the CPA US. They're also the member of IFAC. So one has to be a CA or an ACCA member in order to get your PER signed off or your performance objective signed off. So you have to keep this in check. And so what you have to do is basically, so your time would be signed off, just like if you have to do a 36 months of job, your time would be done with that. The main thing which comes to is writing those performance objectives. The only thing you have to keep in mind that you have to be as honest as possible while writing your performance objectives, because what you have to do, or what ACC expects from you, is that while writing a single performance objective, let's take an example. There is a mandatory performance objective known as stakeholder relationship management. So what you do in stakeholder relationship management, so if you have a client meeting, or if your practical experience supervisor or a reporting manager has basically placed you on an independent assignment. So if you're on an independent engagement or an independent audit assignment, you would be dealing with the client on a day-to-day basis. You would be handling the client relationship. You would be handling all the things from A to Z. So this is one of the practical example of stakeholder relationship management. So what you have to write in this performance objective, you have to take it as a 200-word essay. You have to just write 200 words. What you have to explain is that one example, one real life example which you performed during a job for this particular performance objective. So this particular example has to be minimum of 200 words, and you have to just click on the submit button. That performance objective would be sent an email to. Then they can log into their performance portal, PER supervisor portal. They can read that performance objective. If they are okay with that, then they can submit on okay. So that is how you get your performance objective signed off. And so this process is similar even if you do your 36 months of work experience for entire with a single organization or with 36 organizations. So this process is similar. You have to do each time when you join an organization and when you leave an organization.
So just one more clarification. The objectives are to be fulfilled only once, or for every employer you'll have to write what are the objectives that you've achieved?
No. So once you have claimed one of the objectives with one of the organization, that objective is completely over from your side. You don't have to do another objective of the similar type with another organization. So those 9 objectives have to be completed in your 36 months of journey. Even if you like, you can complete those 9 objectives with one organization during 36 months, or you can complete one objective with one organization, or in any permutation and combination. In any combination, you can complete those.
Okay. And just to, get some updates, like is ChatGPT or any AI tool kind of helpful in writing these objectives, or like it's against plagiarism and should be avoided?
So yes, so this is a very particular thing with ACCA with regards to writing performance objectives. They are very particular about. So even if you have used some of the AI tools or AI expert tools while writing your performance objectives or while drafting those, the ACCA, because at the end of the day, once you click on, okay, I'm ready for the membership, and all your data would be shared with the ACCA expert team, then they would be running it through several checks, several of the AI checks, several of the mandatory checks, and several of the human checks too, while finding out like, okay, are these statements repeated or not? Does these statement matches with another member who has submitted these statements, or are these statements can happen to be fake or not? So there are multiple checks, and God forbids if ACCA caught you on these objectives, there can be serious repercussions around it, because there have been several examples in the past where ACCA have blacklisted few of the students while filing their ACCA membership, and so I would not advise you to write, because at the end of the day, it is your experience, it was your job which you have performed on the very basic ground level. So I don't think AI can do the justice while writing your own performance objective, which is a 200-word essay. What you have to just write is one good example, one good real life example which you have performed to satisfy that objective during your performance role. That's it. ACCA just wants one good example, and that's it. If you write with utmost honesty one good example explaining each and every point of that objective, you are good to go.
Yeah, so I think be honest, that is very important. That's the key. So also my suggestion or advice would be, when you're going to join any organization, and like Harsh said, get the employer updated in your per at the first week of joining. So along with that, you can also go through the objective simultaneously and see what you can kind of put in the example when you work there, or see what is the objective, see how you can work there and fulfill this objective, and then immediately write an essay, so that it's not like a headache at the end of it. So if you're doing it simultaneously, the example or the reference is also fresh in your mind, and it just happens, and then you don't have to specifically take out 3-4 days and do this.